Thompson Brooks Insurance in Lynchburg, Virginia provides health and life insurance, Medicare supplement coverage, and group coverage. Thompson Brooks Insurance, helping you plan for tomorrow, today. So when taking in the experience that you have had before coming to University of Lynchburg, and then taking into more consideration what was being experienced as you came in, certainly those that are familiar with the university know that there were issues back in October and into November, very peaceful, I thought very well put together protest, if you will, a walk in November that has, in my opinion, been kind of brought back up for good reason during these recent times. I want to know from your perspective, what may have been learned during that time in the fall that will put us in a position to be successful with the things that you all will be implementing and just in general, the change that needs to take place.
Sure. So the event, and I'm going to call it a unfortunate and culturally insensitive event that took place last October. And as you already stated, I was not part of the Hornets family at that time, but, my first day, it was welcome to the University of Lynchburg. By the way, this is what's happening or has happened. And so, those of us that are DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioners, we understand that, every day is a new day. Every day will bring its own challenges. We also understand that, the work that we do is not going to be favored by everyone. And we know that the work we do, it's hard. And for me, as I tell people, it's not for the thin skin or the individuals who don't want to be challenged or be put in an uncomfortable situation. So the event, was very unfortunate, but it was an opportunity for our university community to once again come together on a difficult conversation around microaggressions, around cultural misappropriation, to educate, and to teach our students, our faculty, and our staff why it's not okay to do certain things to represent cultures you have no knowledge of. And so out of that, as you may recall, we partnered with the Virginia Center for Inclusive Communities, had Jonathan Zer to come in with his colleague and host a 2-day session of workshops. One was geared toward students, and then one was geared toward faculty and staff. And I do believe in my heart that those 2 days in February, based off the evaluation and just, side conversation, it really allowed for people to sort of pull back a layer of their own, to self-reflect on themselves. And so with this incident that's happened now, what we're going through now in our nation, with the death of a number of African-American individuals, people, it's going to make us pause. It should make us pause, but also to think about, why we need to talk about this. And then for those that aren't talking about it, why aren't you talking about it? But it's, again, a prime opportunity for us as a university communities to come together and to stand in solidarity. And so those are the things that, that I've learned and can take away and set us up for success.
I think you made a good point by mentioning the words talking about it. And for someone like myself, back then in February and even back in the fall, I wasn't sure how to talk about it. And so I can say from a personal standpoint, those sessions in February were extremely helpful to just education. That's all it came down to. It was just learning some things that hadn't been taught to me previously. And so that really leads us into this final topic of the resources, the advice that you can give to those that want to talk about it, but don't know how to do it in a way that may offend or that may show that they have taken the necessary steps to learn more. What can those resources be, and what can those people do to make sure that what they're saying is impactful in a positive light, to make sure that the change that we're all seeking actually comes to fruition and no longer becomes just words?
Right. Ms. Hustler, the first thing I have to say is anyone, I don't care what, how you identify ethnically, we all going to have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because difficult conversations such as race, such as religion, politics, sexuality, they're not easy conversations for many of us to have, especially in mixed company. And so when the fact that the university, through OEI, through other partners on campus, are creating opportunities as a space for us to come together to talk about it, you're going to have to take the initiative to actually do it. So the fact that we are offering this summer DEI summer webinar series, I'm hoping that when it goes out, that people register, because the only way you're going to learn is to be engaged. I understand people can sometimes learn on their own, but if you are in an area or in a place in your life that you don't have a good understanding of what it means to be X, Y, or Z, but you have people that can shed some light and enlighten you, then I think you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your community to be well versed in it, or to have a better knowledge of it. So the resources, and I'm going to have several of them placed on our OEI's website for people at their leisure to look at. There's one that talks about a letter that my dear colleague at Guilford College in North Carolina did. It's like this Dear White Allies, and basically she's talking about things, that 10 points of what she would like for white allies to know, and how to ask questions, how to feel comfortable in seeking knowledge about topics that, again, some people find very hard to talk about. So, there's so much out there. But again, if your institution, your company, organization has created opportunities for you to come together, then I think you should definitely take advantage of it. And if at all possible, I would love to sort of end our conversation today with some, words of wisdom.
Of course.
Yes. So the thing I would love for our listeners to know is that, as we continue coming together to combat injustices and truly create a just society for all, and that's capital ALL, we need to take to heart some words from poet and activist Audre Lorde, who penned that. She says, "You don't have to be me in order for us to fight alongside each other." And I find those words so profound.